Malolele, my name is Du, and welcome back to the Filler May Squad. Today, I'm going to interview my uncle Alusa in his role in the Falefa. Let's go. Hello, everyone. I'd like to introduce you guys to my uncle Alusa. You can introduce everyone here and who you are.
Ko pe mua ke mai Maria Goni, ko hingoa ko toma a kino lawaki. Pa ko wa hingoa Goni ko Alusa. Ko kulele mai me lapa. Pa ko hingoa to mai me he fare Goni tu i matahau. Pa ko kau tangata a kaniwalu. Pa ko kau he kau ngau ko ya kaniwalu. I motu ngau pe a kaniwalu. Malo.
Are you able to share with us what is a Falefa, and have you always wanted to be one?
A Falefa is the brothers of the first king, Aoitu. And he had 4 brothers. So remember, they were kings those days. And Aoitu was the youngest. So the Falefas in their names was Tuiloloko, Tuitalau, Tuimatahau, were Tuiamanave. Those are the 4 brothers.
Yeah.
The story is, it's very long.
Right, yeah.
But their responsibility is to look after the king.
The youngest brother.
The youngest brother. Yeah. Look after him.
Mm-hmm.
So in saying that has trickled all the way down to today.
Yeah.
To Kauhalauta. And at the same time, we all have different responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So I'm from the Tuimatahau side, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And we have our own responsibilities in Kauhalauta. Mm-hmm. So all of them are all from Kauhalauta, okay? All the Falefas. They also have a thing called Nimatapus.
Oh, yeah.
But they're all spread all over Tonga.
What is it? What's that?
But they like attend to the funerals and stuff like that, okay? But our Falefas, we all still listen to the Tui Tonga, which is represented in Kauhalauta, the Carnival, okay?
Yep.
And we all have our own different responsibilities towards him. So my responsibility from Tui Matahau is, historically it was different, but up to today, we have to, there's like weddings, and tatuanga whakawhiawhia.
Yeah.
That's what we do today.
Mm-hmm.
Because our responsibilities those days, we don't do that anymore because culturally that's already, lifted.
Yeah.
But today, our responsibilities in Kauhalauta is doing weddings, social functions, but within limit. But we can't go and do things out of the village if it's not related to Falefa and Kauhalauta. But he's given us the permission to do this, okay? If people ask us, and then we'll do it, but within a limit. But that's what we do now. All under the Karnivalu. The Falefas are still all under the Karnivalu, representing him. So everything we do and say, we are representing him, Pilinisi Karnivalu. So we have to dress up formally every time we go and do a kava ceremony. Whether you're Nimatapu, whether you're a Falefa. They still call us in Lapaha, Ho'eki Falefa, Ho'eki Falefa. Because remember, we were the first 4 kings.
Yeah.
And then now we have to, because of what we did to the first king, our punishment is to serve him.
Yeah.
So that's what we're doing. We're still serving.
Yeah. Have you always wanted to be one?
No. Have I always wanted to be one? No, absolutely not. I'm always doing stuff for the community, but for the Tongan people. So all the Falefas see me doing that, knowing that my dad was a Falefa, and I'm right there in front of everybody doing all this stuff, So they say to me, you should put your hand up to be a Falefa. So they kind of pushed me for 10 years, chasing me around to be a Falefa.
Yeah.
And I did what Falefas did and stuff like that. Like in our church, I'll dari tahala and stuff like that. You know, if we go somewhere for a funeral, I will present, you know, our hala of our church. So I kind of got used to it. At that stage, I didn't know that's what Falefas was supposed to do. And they told me, oh, go do it. You're very good. You should do it. But eventually I gave in and yeah. And here I am today.
What kind of roles and responsibility do matapoles play within our families and communities and our country?
Matapules and Falefas are two different things. Okay. So in La Paja, there are no matapules. There you just have the Kauni Matapu, and then you have the Falefas, but there's no matapules. The role of the matapule in the community is to say, like if there was a putu or something, and normally the matapule will go and sit there, and then taritari the hala, pai hauhagi hala maha whanonga, e taritari ka matapule. Or if there is they need someone to do a speech. You know, normally matapules know how to talk in Tongan, you know, all those words and stuff, you know, the Tongan words. They know that, you know, from experience doing it all the time. So that's where matapules come in handy. You know, a bit of story, I went to a funeral in Otahu, and there was nobody there to do the matapule things, you know. So they asked us, the Gawharewhas, to go and help out. So one of us stood up and go and you know, help out what the matapule should have done, but they didn't have a matapule. So it's always good to have one in the community that you belong to, you know. Because say, well, people who is there matapule here to come and do this? There's no one there. And then, he can cover that as well. He can, you know. Very useful, especially with family stuff. Like if you get married, you know, you probably call on a matapule or Falefa to come in and sit on your behalf and speak on your behalf. So it'll be the two matapules will be doing the speaking, and you can just sit there. I don't have to do anything, you know, things like that. You know.
How did you get where you are today?
Trust me, I don't consider myself that good, you know, but I work at it, you know. Because you know you're gonna be called upon sometime. And in a you know, flick of a finger, you will be called upon to do something. So I have to be prepared. You get better every time, man. You know, I was just like you, sitting there going, you know, my heart's pumping, and that's the same thing as me, you know, because growing up here is quite difficult, as you know that. If someone asks you to go and do a speech in front of everybody, you probably faint. That's how I felt, you know. But eventually, I kind of
got used to it.
I kind of grew with it, you know, because then I said, I better get better. So go sit down on YouTube or watch people speak. Then I write a little speech myself, so to what I want and what I like, and then I write the speech and I learn it off by heart. And as time goes by, I think to myself, man, I better start studying. So I do. What I do at home, I learn 2 words a day, but it's not the normal words that we speak of. It's like the words they spoke of in like 100, 200 years ago. But they have a matapule book. So I got myself one of those, and I learned 2 words a day. Yeah, and I practiced that, and then when I go to Whaikawa, then I use that in some of my sentences. And then eventually I get used to it. And then the guys are looking at me, what the hell is this guy talking about? You know, they don't even know sometimes the kind of words that's in their book. But I try and get used to it, and because I use it all the time, you know. And they just look at me in a funny way. But you know, that's how I learn, just using it on a daily thing, you know. So eventually I'll get better.
If you think back to when you were called to be an Alusa, what was your reaction?
It didn't really hit me until the first kawa ceremony I did, and I said to myself, what have I gotten myself into? You know, I realized then that this is hard work. You know, for someone like us who grew up here in New Zealand,
Yeah.
it's very hard work. That's when it hit me, when I had to do a ceremony.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
5 years time.
Yeah.
You know, I told you that every day I try and learn 2 new words
Yes.
to my vocab. So eventually and hopefully I'll be better than what I am today,
Yeah.
with a lot more, with my vocab,
Mm-hmm.
you know, full on. And hopefully I'll be a better person. In saying that, I like to see, because just an example, the community around in Auckland, it's so hard for people to stand up and speak in Tongan.
Yeah.
You know, proper Tongan, to stand up and then tapu and there's a way you talk instead of just go up there and blah blah blah. But I'm hoping eventually all the kids can do that.
Yeah.
You know, I'll learn something and I'll pass it on to the kids. You know, so you know how valuable that is to you.
Yeah.
So you can hold on to that. And I'll say to myself, oh yeah, last 5 years, at least I taught doing something he learned of me, or at least someone else learned of me. You know, how to do a proper speech in Tongan. You know.
What advice would you give the kids like me or anyone who would be interested in serving as a matapule?
First of all, you have to know what a Tongan means to you.
Yeah.
You know, your own culture. Once you learn that and understand that, then you can think about being a matapule.
Yeah.
Because once you think yourself, oh yeah, I'm a Tongan, but I can't speak Tongan. How silly is that, you know?
Yeah.
I'm a Tongan, but a lot of people say you're plastic,
Yeah.
you know? But eventually, once you grow into that role, then you'll know how important it is, you know? In Tonga, we didn't have computers or books.
Yeah.
We recorded our history in songs and in dance, in the fiber. That's how we recorded our history. It is so important to try and learn who you are.
You got any last message to everyone?
Consider yourself where you're going to be in 10 years with your language. And you might have a family. And you're telling your young kids, try and speak Tongan. How can you when you can't speak Tongan yourself?
Yeah.
You know? Now is the time, eh?
Yeah.
Now is the time. Take hold of it and value who you are. We are the only people who are going to pass it on.
Yeah.
So we should learn it. Learn the language.
Thank you for joining me tonight. And my favorite part in this interview was the part that you said that our Tongan history has been recorded in our music and dancing. And the second favorite part was the part where you got chased for 10 years. And that shows me that there's opportunities out there, and there's and I can learn more about my culture.
I'm so happy that you're doing this to me. And congratulations to you.
Thank you for watching, and I hope you guys learned something today. And tune in for our next Filler May Squad video. Peace out.